Thanks, Gordon. My co-presenter, who unfortunately couldn't make it today, is Rowena Zwart, and she's in sustainability. She's a sustainability officer in Hobart. My question to Corey during the main session was born of all of the help that I've got from Rowie. I need to talk a bit faster. So we did a Treasure from Trash part of one of my units. This was part of thinking about authentic learning experiences, part of trying to move away from very much a lecture-based unit to a more dynamic unit where we were acknowledging all of the opportunities that students had on campus. This fitted into the learning objectives of the unit, which is very much a job-ready unit. It's about getting students not just to perform the skills that they'll need as graduates, but really act as graduates and occupy the role as a consultant, I guess. A lot of the students who enrol in geography and environmental studies are very aware of the opportunities on campus for improvement. And so when they come in, they're looking around and they're seeing overcrowded rubbish bins, inappropriate things in the rubbish, lights left on, parking problems, the natural spaces not being used perhaps as they could, and wanting to be part of a campus that looks different, buildings that are different, a different kind of welcoming environment, an environment that functions differently. So there are a few units within geography and environmental studies that fit really well into that reimagining the campus, and what I've been doing, as well as some of the other people in the school, is embedding some of that learning in some of our existing units, sometimes in ways that are very light on resources and sometimes much more heavy. So some of the work that Jamie Kirkpatrick does in the field is just a matter of choosing a campus location as opposed to somewhere else. Sometimes it requires a lot more help from Corey and Corey's team. So I deliver content about auditing as part of KGA 381 environmental impact assessment. So I give them the blurb about international standards, about some of the theory about how they need to undertake an audit, the reasons why you need to do it, the kind of big international structures that support auditing as a practice. And then what we used to do was a fairly boring practical where we had gone around and filmed a local business that had a fairly appalling record in terms of their environmental standards and presented that as a prac. This slide's not moving. I'm ready to go on. So we'll just press the button. So what we did was, with Rowena's help, and I did need Rowena's help, I couldn't resource this on my own, we're all busy, was to go out into the campus environment to audit all of the rubbish bins on the Sandy Bay campus, dump it all, so I meant literally treasure from trash, dump it all in the big area and have those 60 students over a couple of pracs sort through all the rubbish. We found 59 kilos of waste. We found some fairly extraordinary things in that waste, including dead possums, lots of putrescibles, so a really large proportion of that 59 kilos was things like apple cores and mandarins and bread, a huge number of coffee cups, and no, they can't be recycled, so they were contaminating the other rubbish, a huge number of cigarette butts. So that was 2 years ago. It was a huge success. So we did it again this year, but instead of going outside for OH&S reasons, we came inside. We did find some pretty yucky things in the garbage outside. We're hoping that inside it was going to be a bit cleaner, so it was a bit easier. It was a whole lot less exciting. But yeah, we did find some really odd things. So this is over a 24-hour period. Somebody had thrown out their soccer boots, all sorts of crazy things. We found that there was quite a large-scale beer-making facility in one of the student rooms on campus, so that was interesting. So we found 27 kilos of waste in just our building, and there was lots of putrescibles, so things that could be composted, things that could be recycled, lots of white paper thrown into bins. So this is offices as well as teaching spaces. We labelled all the rooms so that we knew where things were coming from, lots of plastic. So from this, the students put together a table, so we quantified everything, we knew exactly which categories everything filled into, so we knew where the missed recycling opportunities were. The important point about the exercise from a teaching and learning perspective was that we had real clients. So as the write-up for this, the students wrote to Elaine and wrote to Jacinta Young and others in management. And so it had an ew factor, and you know, it was kind of interesting intrinsically. If any of you have seen Dirty Jobs on Tuesday night, you know, it is kind of interesting watching people sort through garbage and, you know, all the funny things that you find. But in terms of a pedagogical experience, it was great. In terms of training scientists, it was great. You know, students said, how long is this going to take? I don't know. You know, what are we going to find? I don't know. And so in terms of a real experience, it was a great thing to go through together. In terms of their marks, that engagement, that enthusiasm, that the authenticity of the task was also really good. There was a definite improvement in their written work. So from a kind of a credit average, we got a really solid distinction average in terms of the letters that they wrote to real people using real data about things that they did care about. And so, yeah, in terms of what you might be interested in, what you would take from this, that authentic aspect of this was really important. And so the good students always got to do good work, but it did help lift some of those students who are a bit less engaged to also do some really fantastic work. The other reason that I know, not just that it has worked on the teaching and learning level, is that as well as being enthusiastic and doing better work, they're going on. So we're keeping students in this space, and so a couple of students have gone on to do master's projects based specifically on this sort of stuff. One looking at composting of the patricibles around campus, and the other one doing a much more detailed audit over a much longer period of time to try to figure out what the missed recycling opportunities were, particularly around the Lazenby area. They also go on to get jobs. So the person who did the project on the missed recycling opportunities starts tomorrow, a new job with a company in Hobart, and he'll be working on all sorts of auditing opportunities around the state to do with patricibles. Other students have gone on to get other positions. This has my last slide. Thank you so much to the people who've supported this. I have needed help. I couldn't have done it on my own. Thank you so much, Corey. Thank you to Dave Green, who's been helping me actually get those practicals together.